Hi, I'm Nathan. I go by Peteparker, and every week I do comic book reviews because that's the rule around my house. If I want to keep buying these, then I have to review them. So this review is going to be for X-Men Schism #1, or maybe it's just named Schism. This is written by Jason Aaron and drawn by Carlos Pacheco. Inks by Cam Smith, Frank D'Armata, colorist. So this is the beginning of the X-Men event of 2011 called Schism. That's ultimately going to split the two teams between Cyclops' team and Wolverine's team. And ironically, it starts with Wolverine and Cyclops doing something together, which is probably realistic, right? Because probably something happens to them together and they differ on the viewpoint of it, and that's why they split. There's actually a heavy involvement of Hope in her team of mutants or whatever, Five Lights or whatever they are, in this, and I do not care for any of those characters, so that was kind of a weird aspect of this book. There's also like some drawing issues in here. Check out this image right off the bat of Wolverine. Now, usually in the beginning of the book, the artist spends a lot of extra time on the first couple of pages because the timing or whatever. But his head is could fit like 10 of them from shoulder to shoulder, and it doesn't slow down. Like, that's awesome. It's got all that stuff stuck in him or whatever, and that does not change through the whole book. My wife looked through this just to see what was going on with the X-Men and see some really cool splash pages here, but for the most part she was like, is Wolverine's head really that small? So that she noticed, and she doesn't read comic books, so there you go. Along with that, you get a really good story in the very beginning about how Wolverine is tied up with all these different teams at the same time, and he's being run ragged, and he's just trying to get some sleep. And right as he lays down, of course, Cyclops has to bring him to some conference on arms. He's trying to convince people not to have Sentinels or whatever, and then they attack Sentinels on him. And then this is interesting too, when Cyclops woke up Wolverine right after he had laid down his, I don't know if you can see that, you probably can't, but his claws shoot out like he's all pissed for being woken up. That was pretty cool. Then what else happens? You get kind of a new bad guy, more or less, who happens to be 12 years old, so that's probably has something to do with it. With what's going to split them. Maybe it'll be a child-killing issue, more or less, in the end. But and then there's a little bit of kitty interaction with Wolverine. Wolverine gives a doll to the girl that didn't have a childhood on Hope's team. I don't know who she is, or don't really care about her all that much. I can see that they're trying to make Hope's team more integral to the X-Men and less of an outsider kind of team, and show that there's a point for them being around. They're not just a separate team out there. But it really feels forced about these characters, and I really don't care about them that much. Oh, and there's a really long part in here that kind of sets off the event or whatever. When they go to that arms race, like this part where that's before that, where Cyclops is giving his speech and people are arguing with him in the audience or whatever. It really feels like that part was really drawn out, that there was a lot going on here that I didn't really care about. And then you get, of course, Quentin Quire, the new bad guy or whatever, who's 12, broke him out and set him out to this arms dealing thing, and Quentin says that he's a representative of the X-Men and he's creating chaos. He's got the same ideals that he had when he first premiered back in New X-Men a long time ago. I think it was the second volume of New X-Men. But again, it's got to be really, it's got to change a lot. The character of Quentin Quire, or Kid Omega or whatever, is going to need to change a whole lot coming in these next couple issues, because This we've kind of seen before. He hasn't done an outright attack on leaders of the world or whatever, but his general viewpoint and him creating chaos because mutants are superior or whatever, it's not great. It's not very good, I don't think. So there was a lot to this book. I'm really excited about the Schism event. I really like the X-Men, and I think Jason Aaron is a great artist, and there's a lot of really good like splash pages going on in here, but I think the panel-to-panel art isn't as good as I would like it to be, and there was long parts of exposition about Cyclops' stance on Sentinels, more or less, and whether or not Sentinels exist, and then bringing Sentinels back around the world. So Kid Omega brainwashes some people into telling their secrets, and it scares everybody in the world of mutants again, and so everybody brings out their Sentinels that they were hiding and puts them on their borders and stuff to try to keep mutants away. So I think it's an interesting start because there's a lot of different things going on, and there's a bunch of different directions this could go. I mean, ultimately we know where we're going, and we're just waiting for the event that's going to happen that's going to split these two teams apart. But there's a lot of little issues between like head size on art and long exposition kind of areas of the story that made me not really love this book as much as I thought I should have. Now you look at the book and you go, oh awesome, a really fat X-Men book about the event that I've been waiting for them to do all year, and you think it's going to be totally awesome, and it's not totally awesome. It's okay. The art's probably better than okay, so I'll probably give it a 4 out of 5. There's a lot going on. It's a little early to judge the entire series. But like I said, between a little bit panel-to-panel art issues and the general too much wording that I have to read, it really knocks it down from being incredible. So I'll give it a 4 out of 5. So this is X-Men Schism #1. If you like that review and you want to hear others, just look for video reviews by Peteparker, or check out Spidey207 on YouTube. That's the name that I have for uploading videos on YouTube. Otherwise, I may not be doing this next week because of San Diego Comic-Con. I may try to do them out of the hotel out there, but if not, I'll see you in 2 weeks. Sit tight. I'll review all the comics then. And as always, thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you later.